I see you there. Survive the shame and despair, foster care. I see you there. Layers of grief that you wear, nowhere to share. Seems like no one really cares. Push them away. Life doesn't feel fair. Our stories won't completely compare. Each story so unique and rare. Screaming for comfort, gasping for air, lump in the throat, so many tears. Family isn't there. Memories too much to bear. They took you away and they called it care. When you pass by a mirror, I want you to affirm your existence here is needed, and what you survived and continue to survive, you succeeded, exceeded. I want you to say to yourself, I am needed. Breathe in the love as you meet it. Let it shower your spirit, feed it. You're the stars in the skies. I know it, I see it, and I read it. Believe me. Let go of the old hurts. It's time to weave new beliefs about the unresolved griefs. Open up and make a new family of peeps. We're not all the same. I'll cheer you on as you make leaps. Listen so closely as you speak. Never let you think you're weak. Times are changing. New leaf. Walk with purpose. Pull your feet. That hope you seek is no longer dreams in your sleep. Suffering to joy slowly every week. Heal and experience that you are love, and that is reality. Bonjour, Anin. I'm Anishinaabe, and my spirit name is Bameshe Anung Inane, Traveling Star Man. My clan is Wawakeshi Dodum, Hoof Clan. My other name is Matthew Brian Shorting, and I experience being separated from my family for 4,988 days. The Anishinaabe knowledge keepers tell us that our spirits will choose the family and life we'd belong to. My spirit chose the family and life here on Treaty 1 territory in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. My life giver carried me lovingly and protectively in her womb. There in her pure space, as her sacred waters engulfed me, I was formed, I was safe, loved, nurtured, comforted, and soothed by a heartbeat. And these feelings continued thereafter into life. Though my mother worked, we lived in poverty. With lack of access to public housing, she was labeled transient. Lack of support exists for mothers after children are taken away. In total, I spent 13 years, 6 months, and 6 days in the child welfare system. A life sentence for a child. I felt not seen, not heard, and misunderstood. Apprehended children are often medicated rather than dealing with the heart of the issue, trauma. When I was a child and I couldn't sit still, pain was inside of my body. And I was given pills rather than coping skills. Apprehended children are showing that their families are bad and that they are to trust total strangers. With the protective factor of my family removed, I was left vulnerable and open. Personal boundaries became unlearned. Personal boundaries became blurred. Personal boundaries became non-existent. When you deprive a child of love, affection, connection, attention, and family, they will naturally seek it in their environment. With blurred boundaries, I was sexually abused and exploited multiple times. In Manitoba alone, 26 Indigenous children make up 26% of the child population. In 2018, they made up 87% of the 10,328 children living inside the child welfare system. A humanitarian crisis. Canada's relationship with Indigenous people is one of human rights violations, injustices, inequality, inequity, and in recent news, genocidal, which have created the conditions of life possible for these statistics. I encourage every person to do what the education system has failed to do and learn from Indigenous people their version of history. Every time a child is taken away, torn from the family, the haunting, longing pain affects not only that child and family, but many future generations. We need to do better. Here are 3 things for our intergenerational healing. Focus area number 1. Healing. All the pain, trauma, and grief we experience can be healed. Healing happens when skills are made accessible for families who experience trauma. It is in everyone's best interest when many spaces are available for people, whether they have money or not. When working with families who have experienced trauma, it is so important that you have begun on your healing journey. Why? Because we need you present when difficult life experiences are shared. Emotional labor leads to emotional health. Your healing is my healing. Other insightful ideas when helping families is that all pain is valid, never needs to be compared, feared, or shut down. Focus area number 2, for our intergenerational healing relationships. I believe that the most powerful and protective factor for any child is to be with and see their families treated in equality and equity. Multi-generational healing happens in the strength of the family. Support struggling families the way you support foster families. When families and systems fail, the best thing for a young person is emotional connection. Relationships are emotional connections. Let connections be the corrections to breaking cycles. Focus area number 3 for our intergenerational healing: environmental shifts. When a flower doesn't grow, we change the environment it grows in. Can we just all acknowledge that environments are what set up families to struggle, and stop blaming, pointing fingers at one another? Change the environment, and patterns of behaviors change. When changing laws via law and policy, we need to include the voices and agreements of families, children, and communities. Nothing about us without us. Now, I'm not fully in support of the child welfare system. However, if we are going to have a child welfare system, it needs to be so good, so perfect, that you put your own child into it.